Hey everybody, what's going on? Today I'm doing a guitar lesson for the song Pandy Fackler by Ween off of their album White Pepper. Great album. If I'm being totally honest, this isn't one of my absolute favorite Ween songs, but it's alright, and it's a lot of fun to play. I didn't know how to play it before doing this video because this was requested by, I don't remember the dude's name, but he commented on, I believe, my Buckingham Green guitar lesson video or my spinal meningitis guitar lesson video. Thank you so much. Thank you for causing me how to learn how to play this song. It's actually pretty fun to play, and I am more than happy to teach it. If anybody wants to learn how to play any Ween songs, yeah, I'm more than happy to share that and learn for myself in some cases, like this one here. This song sounds a little bit more complicated than it actually is, or at least it did to me when I first heard it. It's only a couple of parts. Really, what's kind of trippy about it as a guitar player is the actual chord voicings. Those are a little odd, but we're going to cover all those. So yeah, that what I just played for you in the intro there is the very first thing you hear at the beginning of the song. It's kind of like the main riff of the song. So there's another variation of that, but we'll get to that. Let's just do that because it's the very first thing you hear. So we're just climbing up the G major scale, starting on the G note on the 5th fret of the D string, and just climbing up from there. I'm not going to call out every single fret name. I'll do it with one finger, do it kind of slowly so that you can see it for yourself. So starting here, 5th fret of the D. Alright, so yeah, that's that. And then we get into the verse immediately after that. And at the beginning of the verse, each of the verses, of which there are really only two, and then there's a big old solo section where you just repeat everything at the end. Again, we'll get to that. But the beginning of each of the verses, there is this little guitar lick. Alright, it's got a little bit of slapback echo on it. That's just 17th fret of the high E string, hit a couple times. Then hit one more time really quick. So that's the 14th fret of the high E getting picked and then hammering back onto the 17th fret, then pulling back off onto that 14th fret really quick. So then hitting the 15th fret on the B string, then the 16th fret on the G string after that. So maybe add a little bit of vibrato on that last note on the G string. He does it 2 times at the beginning of the first verse, and I believe 4 times at the beginning of the second verse, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's that little guitar part. Now let's get into the rhythm of the verses. This is the kind of tricky part. Really tripped me up, because the way that Diener voices his chords, the fingering for the chords that he uses, are kind of weird, and I think he's changed the way that he plays this song, at least live, in recent years, because I swear I see some like older videos of him, and he has this chord shape, which did not sound like what I was hearing when I was listening to the recorded version. But, that could be what he's playing. But in pretty much all the more recent live videos, I see him playing it like this. So what that is that's 2nd fret of the low E string hit with your first finger, then mute the A string with the tip of your finger. So then 3rd fret of the D and G strings with these 2 fingers. Then the 2nd fret of the B string with your middle finger. So, and then just mute the high E string again I'd recommend doing it just with the bottom part of your index finger, so it kind of lays over it, and the only thing that your finger's really putting pressure on is that top, is the low E string. But that's not really the chord that you want to focus on. This one, it's really you're sliding this exact shape up 1 fret really quickly, so it sounds like this. So you notice that's very percussive. I'm sort of muting it. I'm letting the pressure go on my finger when I'm moving up to this one. Although I think technically on the recording they're just doing, and you could do that, but I think it's more satisfying. It just feels better when you have that rhythm going in your right hand. And you could also just palm mute it very subtly. So yeah, either of those work. We go through the verse, basically do that for a while throughout most of the song actually, just doing this sort of figure. Then about halfway through the verse, they switch things up. So after doing this, you do this. We're back into the verse, and then it ends. We'll show that in a second. But this is really, the chords are E minor, G major, A minor, and E minor. But again, the voicing. At first I thought he was doing this, but I'm like, that's not right. What he's actually doing, he's hitting this triad shape with your fingers like this. 7th fret of the high E, 8th fret of the B, and 9th fret of the G, like that. And then he's just kind of muting all the other strings. The only ones you should hear any sound are from these. And then the rest of them you just kind of... This is harmonic, but there's no note there. It should sound like that. And again, just kind of focus on these top 3 notes. Can kind of gently rate out those notes and then give them a quick spank, so it's like, and then just do that for all of them. Just that's the rhythm of your right hand for all of them. So this E minor triad. Then we get down here and we do a G major triad. This time you're taking that exact same triad shape, just moving it up 1 string and muting the high E string with the tip of your finger. So it's, the same fret shape, just on the B, G, and D strings now. And again, muting the other strings. You're just hitting those 3 strings. So then A minor, just normal A minor, then normal E minor. So all in all, that's... And then we finish off the verse with this. So again, that first part is the same as the rest of the verse. This last part is just a regular kind of power chord shape. I guess it's bar chord based on the A string rather than the open E. This shape. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just have your middle finger over the what is that? 6th fret, and it's going to go up again. Slide it up real quick to the 7th. The exact same rhythm as this. It's just now you're doing it with this shape. And again, mute the high E. And that only happens at the very end of the verse again. And I'm pretty sure on the recorded version they're doing this, where they are actually, he's barring this, so you can hear that high E. You don't have to do that. I think when they play it live, they just kind of do this. But I'm pretty sure that on the original recording, that's what I hear anyway. Then, this next part, you're gonna do this. It's the only time that this really happens. I guess you could call it the bridge of the song. Basically do this. Add that little wah effect in there. You don't have to. That's just what happens on the recording. So that's basically just, it's the same kind of chord that we play here. We're just focusing on this one though. These 3 notes are the same. And this note is the same as well. We're adding the high E and we're playing that with our first finger. We're not playing this with our first finger now. We're playing the high E 2nd fret. So it's like a B minor shape. But we're not playing it like that because we're muting the A string and playing the 3rd fret of the G with our thumb. So it should sound like... then it's either regular A minor or it's A minor 7, which is just regular A minor, but lift your middle finger off so the G string is open. So it's like, you can kind of fairly quickly strum that chord, gently rake it during that part. And during that part right there, there is this little lick that is kind of noodly. It's not so much about hitting the exact notes, but it's something in this ballpark. Anything like that, you know, just really soft, especially that first part. Anything like that will basically get you there. But yeah, we basically will repeat all that to the very end of the verse there. That's the my pandy part. And then we basically revisit the opening riff of the song, but it's not the same. It's not... This time it's... It's the exact same riff with the exact same rhythm, but you're starting 1 degree lower in the scale, which in this case is the 4th fret of the D string. So it's... wait a minute. Like that. But that's only for the first part, and it loops, and the second part, after we do some other stuff, we do the same that we did in the intro, which is without that extra little bit. Yeah. But after we do the, I'll say the second version of the main riff, we do this. Talk about that for a minute. So again, after the main riff, the second version of the main riff, we go, I kind of quickly hit the open D, so it's like, and this is a double stop of the 1st fret, the 3rd fret B, and the 4th fret G, so then just move that down 2 frets, then D and G, B and G open, so then this next part, technically all you really need to play is just, which I find myself doing sometimes, admittedly, so that's just hammering on to the 2nd fret of the D string and then hitting the open G. But I think what they're really doing, and it just makes it sound better overall, is if you finger it like the C major chord, we all know C major, just have that fingering, so if you accidentally hit the other strings, it'll sound really nice. So again, just doing that with the middle finger. Then after that, we go to the 1st fret G string, slide up really quick, so, and then, so, open G this time, not 1st fret, just, then I think what he's actually doing is doing this, so that's just kind of pulling off real quickly, hitting the 4th fret, and then pulling off to the 2nd fret, then pulling off to the open D string, so, then do, at least live, this is what they do. So that's really just starting on the B string, 3rd fret. So slide there, slide down. Well, not slide down, but slide up, definitely. make sure to hit that first time. So it's pull off of that second fret G string. So that's hitting the open A real quick. So then open E, second fret E, third fret E. Now, what you notice is after I played through that riff, I played, and you can do that, especially if you're playing it live. If you have two guitar players and you want to make it sound, bigger and whatnot, you can have another guy play, again, the exact same thing, just an octave higher. Because it is the same riff, just an octave lower. So the pattern for the notes is actually the same. Actually, it's not the same, I apologize, because here you went... The notes and the pattern are the same, but since the strings are tuned slightly differently, the G is tuned up a major third rather than a perfect fourth. It's... So that's the same so far. But instead of going to the two frets behind and going to a string lower, you go just one more fret behind on that one. Yeah, and then again. After you do that riff the second time, you just go, then you just kind of transition from that into the verse part, and then there's no more lyrics or anything. You don't do that lead guitar line, no more of that. It's basically just a big long excuse for the keys player to just go crazy, and Glenn McClellan just does all sorts of crazy stuff when they play that song live. But for us guitar players, you can noodle and stuff, I'm sure, but as far as I know, there's really not a whole lot of guitar noodling in particular during the later half of the song. There probably is, it's all hidden in there, but it's really about what the keys player is doing, and there's not really any hard and fast rules that I can give you for how you do that. I'm sure Diener would just be like, just do whatever you want. But yeah, I figured I'd get all this chord voicing and stuff right, share that with people, and that's basically it for the song. So I'm glad that person requested it. Thank you. And that's basically everything for the song. I can't think of anything else. Again, it just repeats. Thank you. That's Pandy Fackler by Ween, and I'll see you around. Thank you for watching this lesson.